The Tale of the King and His Falcon, by Arabian Folk Tales. Brought to you by TellStory.net, stories from around the world. There was once a king of Persia who delighted in hunting, and he had reared a falcon that left him not day or night, but slept all night long perched upon his hand. Whenever he went out to hunt, he took the falcon with him, and he had a cup of gold made to hang round its neck so that he might give it water to drink. One day, his chief falconer came to him and said,
"O king, now is the time to go hunting."
So the king gave orders and set out, taking the falcon on his wrist, accompanied by his officers and attendants. They rode until they reached a valley where they formed the circle of the chase, and behold, a gazelle entered the ring. The king called out, "Whoever lets the gazelle spring over his head, I will kill him." Then they drew the ring closer around her, and she came to the king's station and stood still, putting her forelegs to her breast as if to beg for mercy. The king bowed to her, but she sprang over his head and was off into the desert. The king saw his attendants nodding and winking to one another about him, and he said to his vizier, "O vizier, what do my men say?"
"They say that you threaten to kill him over whose head the gazelle should spring."
"By my life, I will follow her until I bring her back." So he spurred after her and followed her until he came to a mountain. She made for her lair, but the king cast off the falcon, which swooped down on her and struck at her eyes until he blinded her and dazed her. Then the king threw his spear at her and brought her down. He dismounted, cut her throat, and made her fast to his saddle. Now it was the hour of midday rest, and the place where he was had become desert. The king was very thirsty, and so was his horse. He searched until he saw a tree with water dripping slowly, like oil, from its branches. The king's hands were gloved with leather, so he took the cup from the falcon's neck and filled it with the liquid and set it before himself. The falcon smote the cup and overturned it. The king took it and refilled it with the falling drops and set it before the bird, thinking that it was thirsty, but it smote the cup again and overturned it. At this, the king grew angry with the falcon and filled the cup a third time and set it before his horse, but the falcon again overturned it with its wing. Then the king said, "God curse you, you most troublesome of fowls! You will neither drink yourself nor let me nor the horse drink." And he struck it with his sword and cut off its wings. The falcon raised its head and made signs as if to say,
"Look what is at the top of the tree."
The king raised his eyes and saw at the top of the tree a brood of snakes, and this was their venom dripping, which he had taken for water. He felt deep remorse for having cut off the falcon's wings, and he mounted his horse and rode on until he reached his tents. He gave the gazelle to the cook to roast. Then he sat down on his chair with the falcon on his wrist, and presently the bird gasped and died. The king cried out in sorrow and lamented for having slain the bird that had saved him from death, and he felt bitter regret when regret could no longer help him.